talking to the voice of the Liberty Flames, Mr. Alan York. Flames return home for a home opener against University of Alabama Birmingham, UAB, at a 1-0 record, but had to put in some extra work. Alan, talk to me about Southern Miss.
Yeah, Bob, good to be on the podcast with you today. Southern Miss was a great game. If you didn't care who won, I mean, it had a little bit of everything. And Liberty able to pull it out in 4 overtimes, 29-27, and overtime's a little bit unique. A couple of years ago, they changed the rules so we don't have these drawn, long-out overtimes. You have to go for 2-point conversions beginning with overtime number 3. So it went to the 4th overtime, and Liberty was able to score first and then hold Southern Miss out of the end zone. So it was a good win on the road. Those are always special to get. And then coming back home on Saturday is going to be fun with a brand new renovated Liberty Stadium with the south end zone berm for fans to sit out now, and the cabanas that have been put up, and the new turf that has been replaced. So looking forward to Saturday, but definitely a big-time win for the Flames last weekend to open up the season.
Stupid question because you're always happy with the win, but was Liberty happy with the performance that got them the win?
You know, I think each game, Bob, has its own critiques, good and bad, and Coach Freeze shares that with his team every Monday after he and the staff are able to analyze the game tape. You know, obviously Liberty losing Charlie Brewer to a broken wrist, hand. He'll be out 6 to 8 weeks pending his surgery that was this week. Obviously everybody's looking behind the microscope of the quarterback, and Jonathan Bennett came in and was 7 of 18, did throw a pick 6. So then he was replaced in the 4th quarter by the 3rd-string quarterback, Caden Salter, who by no means is a 3rd-string quarterback. I mean, he was a Power 5 commit to Tennessee a couple of years ago, and now he's at Liberty. So outside of that, you know, they missed 20 tackles, which is a high number for Coach Freeze and for any coach. So they have to shore that up. And penalties also were a big issue as well. Liberty had 12 for 107 yards of penalty yards. So a couple of things there to shore up, but it's better to critique those in a win than a loss. So they're feeling pretty good about that.
Give me your view on what is a good penalty and what is a bad penalty.
What's a good penalty? Well, none are really ever good. I mean, it obviously curbs momentum offensively and gives the offense some momentum if you're on the defensive side of it. A good penalty, to be honest with you, there was one in the Southern Miss game. Kobe Singleton, who's one of our cornerbacks in the second half, was beaten on a play down the field, and he just basically tackled the wide receiver who was wide open. And so that was a good penalty because it took away a touchdown, or a presumed touchdown, if you will. So in that case, that would be a good penalty, but you never want to see that yellow flag come out pretty much at any time during the game.
Yeah, I guess let me rephrase the question a little bit. Good penalty, bad penalty, because it does sound weird. I think a good penalty would be if you're still putting forth effort. Obviously, you don't want to see the yellow flag, as opposed to if it's a bad penalty for lack of effort, you hold, you know, you just do silly stuff, jump off sides, a false start. So now that I've rephrased the question, was it a more bad penalty night? Was it more like, you know, discipline penalties, or was it effort penalties in your opinion?
It was effort. It wasn't discipline. Discipline are those late hits, those personal fouls, things you could do to a quarterback. And obviously Liberty had one targeting foul on Rocket Rahimi, so he was kicked out of the game on Saturday. So in that case, that definitely was an egregious penalty. But most were just first game type stuff, like, hey, you know, teams now are so limited with what they do in camp due to NCAA rules. You know, back when I played college football 25 years ago, we had 3 days, not 2 days, but 3 practices. And you could hit and tackle and do all that stuff. Now today, the student athletes are protected health-wise, and keeps them fresh. And so when you don't tackle as much, and this goes for pretty much any college team in the preseason, then those first game, you know, 20 missed tackles, it's alarming, but it's at the same time, you don't tackle much in fall camp, and so I would expect them to have a better day at that on Saturday.
And for the record, you never committed a bad penalty, right?
I never did. No,
Exactly.
no.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think back in my career. Maybe had some egregious type of, things in practice with teammates that might have ticked me off and things like that, but never in a game. Oh, no.
I have always said every time the official dropped a flag on Alan York, it was the official's fault. But that's just my opinion.
I mean, yeah. and a lot of times you don't get caught with some of the penalties that might happen inside of a pile.
Right.
So
Yep.
There you go. Just get in the bottom of the pile and you don't have to worry about who sees you.
Brightest point for Liberty besides the win on Saturday. What do you say?
Just how well they stood together. I mean, Southern Miss in the second half didn't even use a quarterback, and that doesn't surprise anybody because they didn't the majority of last year. They went Wildcat with a running back and then said, hey, let's just go see if we can smash mouth them. And for Southern Miss's credit, they hung tough in that game. But I just think the adversity you have, game one, overtime, on the road, those ingredients for that recipe are never easy. But I do think how the Flames were able to just stay together and stay composed late in that game, and the challenge that they got from Southern Miss is one thing I'll take away from last week.
What does UAB do better than what Southern Miss did, just based on what you've seen and studied?
I just think they have better players, to be quite frank, and they're moving to the American Conference, part of all this conference realignment shuffle that Liberty's been involved with. Liberty moving to Conference USA. But UAB last year went 9-4. Liberty did beat them last year in Birmingham, and I do think they capped off their season with a big-time win against number 13 BYU, 31-28. So they're a team that, despite a coaching change, Bill Clark retired in June, and Bryant Vincent now is their new head coach. So, but he's been on the staff before, so it's nothing that, just a new voice. It's not a new message, if you will, for UAB. And they have a lot of good skill players back. They have a really good quarterback, a couple of great running backs, good wide receivers. So they do have, I think, just better players, and it's going to be a stiff challenge for Liberty on Saturday.
Last question about the game, then one more to close this out. But give me one key offensively, one key defensively, and one key on special teams that gives Liberty a season-opening win at Williams Stadium.
Well, I think offensively, you need to get whoever quarterback starts comfortable in the game. They don't have to win the game there in the first quarter, but you definitely don't want to see yourself fall down like maybe Liberty did against Army last year at the end of the year. So you want to keep either Jonathan Bennett or Caden Salter, get them comfortable, get them in a rhythm, and that's always key and important for, I think, head coach Hugh Freeze, who does call the plays. So he is very cognizant of that. Liberty, from a running back perspective last week, didn't do a bad job, to be quite honest with you. Liberty had some good balance rushing the football. Caden Salter had 65 yards. Day Hunter, Shedder Lewis complemented each other well. And even Jonathan Bennett, he had an 18-yard touchdown run when he was in there. So if Liberty can get that balance offensively, and just get the quarterback comfortable. That's the key, I think, offensively for Liberty. And on the defensive side, just continue to play aggressive football. Liberty really made a conscious effort, Bob, during the offseason to focus in on getting tips and throwaways and taking the ball back. And that's what Liberty did with 5 takeaways at Southern Miss. And so that aggressiveness under new defensive coordinators Jack Curtis and Josh Aldridge helped them out on Saturday. And again, that's a situation like UAB has a change at head coach, but they have an assistant coach take over. Same thing defensively. Scott Simons left to go to SMU. Jack Curtis, Josh Aldridge running the defense now. They both have been at Liberty. And so, again, not a new message, but maybe a new voice for that defense. And they played really well despite those 20 missed tackles on Saturday. And special teams, Aiden Alvis had a phenomenal day punting the football last week. He's a veteran for this team. And Nick Brown, the new kicker, had a field goal in his first opportunity. So Flames played pretty solid special teams-wise, and just continue to be consistent, I would say, would be the key there.
Yeah, Aiden, no relation to me. We spell it differently, but every time I see him out there, I call him Cousin Aiden. So
hey, why not, my man? He's a good kid.
I got to try to claim all the people I can in my life, Alan. So final question for you, and always appreciate your time. give me the review of Aaron Stam for week 1 and preview Kyle's joining you for week 2.
Yeah, Stammer. For those that do not know, Aaron is new to our radio crew this year. He has stayed in town after not joining Hugh Freeze's staff, but that was an amicable, separation where Turner Gill retired and Aaron Stam stayed on until the new transition of the new coaches got here. So that's one of the first things we did when the decision was made to make a change in the radio booth for the color perspective was, hey, let's get some candidates, let's vet some out. And Aaron was one that was suggested to us, and he and I have stayed in contact the last 3 years since he's not been at Liberty, but Coach Freeze, signed off on it. He was great, saying that Aaron would be phenomenal, and the only reason Aaron is missing Saturday's game is because his oldest son is a assistant coach at Long Island University, and he told his son, your first game as an assistant coach, I will be there. And that's just being a great dad. So
yep.
Aaron will miss Saturday's game, but he'll be on the rest of the season beginning next weekend at Wake Forest. And he did a great job. And Kyle DeArmond is one who left the football program in the off season to go get into some family business outside Charlotte. And he was going to come up for this game anyway against UAB. And I said, look, we have a great opportunity to hop on the radio. And he took that offer, and we had a meeting today, as a matter of fact, at 9 o'clock every Thursday. Our radio crew, which consists of me, Nick Pierce, who our fan base adores, rightfully so, our engineers, our studio hosts, we meet at 9 o'clock every Thursday on a Zoom call to recap the previous broadcast and, iron out any kinks that might have happened and kind of set the stage for the upcoming broadcast, which for us, for those fans that listen to this, we encourage you to stop into the indoor facility for the Fan Fest 2.5 hours before kick. So that will be at 3:30 on Saturday. And then about 4 o'clock, the team is going to bring back the team walk, and they'll make their way through the indoor facility and shake hands and that type of stuff as they go to the locker room. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, Alan, looking forward to getting you on too. We'll talk at some point about, more of the sportscasting, how difficult it is to or how easy it is to incorporate new people in and the comfortability of doing it with people. So we adore you just as much as we adore Nick Pierce, probably adore you more.
Well, it's 1A and 1B. I mean, I'm just a spoke in the wheel, and Jamie Hall for women's basketball does a great job with us as well. And, of course, the job Matt Warner and those guys do on the video side of things is it's top-notch. So happy to be just doing God's work here and, getting one fan, one broadcast at a time.